Basileia and Femi. These two people are one of the most vulnerable people alive that I know. I literally have followed Ini long before I met her. I was just deeply connected to what a powerful human she is based off of how vulnerable she is, where she talks about her being raped and kidnapped and how she had to deal with that entire shame, the pain, the anguish, and how it tormented her for years before she finally had to release and forgive. Femi came along in all of that and was there. He was just present with her as a friend. Femi is the guitar man of Africa, has such amazing evergreen music, plays the guitar like there's no tomorrow. They have three amazing children. These two people who are a couple has actually redefined what partnership is, what being yourself as an individual is, what parenting is, and what believing in God is. They are an immense role model. Personally, to me, I see them every time in everything that they do because I know them online and offline, and it gives me a lot of hope, a lot of possibility that I'll get it right someday. I'll get it right someday. For me, with them, it's that they are constantly an example of what parenting is, what love is, what companionship is, what being an individual is, and owning in on your skills and living your life to the fullest according to what you truly deeply want within you. I am such a fan of them. We are friends, we are partners. It is such an amazing thing to see people like this and know that the love that you want is possible, the companion you want is possible, the partner you want is possible, the friend, the safety you feel in friendship is possible. I deeply enjoyed this episode. I was just all smiles. And it was one of those episodes where I end my day with, I did something amazing today. I did something amazing today. On this episode, it was that I spoke to Inileye and Femi, and it was the amazing thing I did. And for that, I'm good for the day. I'm fantastically good for the day. My job for the day is done. And I hope you enjoyed this episode as much as I enjoyed it. They were deeply vulnerable, and I hope that this story gets to give you some sort of healing and freedom that you want inside of your heart. Enjoy it. Tell me about yourselves.
Where do you want to start from?
Who are you?
First, babe.
Okay, we are Femi and Inileye. We've been married for 7 years now. I would say 7 years because like our anniversary is in 2 months. But we've been married for 7 years, been together for 9. Babe, is it 9? 2016. Okay, yeah, we've been together for 9 years. I'm a musician, she's a therapist, art therapist, broadcaster, journalist, what else do you do?
Too many things.
Woman of God, wife, mother, friend, sister, and all those beautiful things. I'm a musician, multi-instrumentalist. What else do I do? Producer, songwriter. Don't let us forget that part. But all things music. I'm a creative. Also, up until recently, I started executive producing some series and stuff. So I'm going into shooting movies and shooting series and producing them and all that. So yeah, I also produce music I score music for what's this thing called, for movies and for series and thrillers and all this stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
So that's who we are. Oh yes, and we are parents. Jesus Christ.
I think you mentioned that.
You guys have such an amazing love story. I want you to tell me about it. And tell me about it and how it started, where it is now, after 7 years, with 3 children.
It's an entire conglomerate. I'm telling you,
It
it's a
is.
company. Try.
So our love story started in 2016, but way before that. I think no, started when we met.
2013.
No, not when we met. I'll say it started when we officially started talking.
Which was
And this was
2014.
it was 2013, right?
Yes. Yeah, I started talking 2013, but actually, there was a period where we didn't talk.
When we didn't talk, and then the
2014.
beginning of 2014, we now, yes. So our love story started 2014. By that time, we had been talking on and off. I was working as a radio presenter. I had done an interview for Femi on radio. And then we just stopped talking. Not that we stopped talking, just life, you know. Life had happened to me. I didn't even know where he was. And then, I reached out to him. Yes. 2014, I was the one that reached out to you. I was like that. Oh, or did you say hi or something? I was like, oh, where have you been?
I think we just reconnected somehow.
We just reconnected. But I remember the day we reconnected. I remember that we also went to Ember Creek that day. I remember because Joan's like my sister. We're friends since we're in uni. Joan had just come into the country as we were hanging out, and then we met up, and yeah.
I was about to start playing at Eco Hotel. I got the
Yes, that's when
Eco
you
Hotel
told me,
residency.
and I was so happy for him because he was a budding musician, and that was like, it was huge. He was going to start playing at the Hotel every Friday. Like, that was amazing. So we reconnected, and we're just going. But I remember that day, was it that day? We ran into Luto.
Luto, yeah.
We ran into Luto.
Shout out to Luto Nak.
And everything was still normal. So I also removed his eyelash. Everything was still normal, and then we were just gisting, hanging out. And then I was about to go home, so he just escorted me. We went to a restaurant to get fast food, to buy food. We ran into Luto, and then Luto asked me, "Oh, do you have a boyfriend?" I was like, "No." And then he said, "Oh, is he your boyfriend?" And when he said it, I was like, "No." And then I looked at him. You know when you look at your friend, I just saw this weird look on Femi's face. I was like, okay. That was the first time we dawned on me, like, is it possible this guy likes me? I'm like, no. So I was like, no, he's not my boyfriend. Anyway, but that was the first time my eyes were open to see that Femi might have whatever it was for me.
He's called feelings.
And she's the one that reached out to you now. Why did you reach out to her?
No.
Good question. Tell us.
Okay, so this is what happened. I remember where I was that day. So I called her, I told her that I think I texted her or something like that, the Eco Hotel thing happened. She was like, oh, let's link up, let's see. I'm gonna be at Ember Creek today, so come. And so I went to join her. It was Juwon.
And some other guys from school.
One of the guys that is like, he's married now in Canada. School, so we hung out at Ember Creek, and then we took a cab to I think it was one of the restaurants, and then went to buy food. And then I saw Luto. I've known Luto, obviously. Luto, Titi Talk, and all those guys, they were doing their thing. So he just mentioned that it's some you almost like imprinting that you guys should. Obviously, I already.
He also made that statement that you guys
should get together.
He said you guys should. I have a thing. You guys should.
Yeah, and nobody has ever said anything like that because I never told him that the only person I told was Wana.
I had no
idea. I'm telling the only person I told. So he said that I obviously I was very shy. I'm like, oh my, this guy don't post my book and all that. I wanted to be like very slick with it and everything. But yeah, I think that was what she knew. But me, I'd already been there for like a while. But I think it was cemented for me just a couple of months after that oh, this is where I'm going to be. So regardless of what happens, I'm going to be here. I think that was actually where the perseverance came from. Like whatever it is that, whether she says yes or no, I'm just going to keep calm.
Friend.
Yeah.
So quick question. I want you to tell me about the rape, and was it before he asked you out or before you guys met?
Oh, way before. Okay, it wasn't before we met, but it was in between. So when we said that there was a gap, that gap had happened in between. I got kidnapped and raped March 2014. This incident we're talking about happened shortly before. It happened around this time. It's something about February, to be honest. We also started dating officially in February. Anyway, so it was around this time because shortly around Juwon's birthday. Juwon's birthday is 31st of January. I remember she was around at that time. Then we met up. So February we started, this whole night, that whole day, and then shortly after that, the whole incident of rape and kidnap happened, and so there was another gap. There was another gap. Like you're not even thinking
About yeah.
anything. You're not even thinking about a relationship. I was just fighting for my life. And so I remember that we did start talking again after.
Did he know about the rape when it happened?
No, he didn't.
Yeah, no idea.
So he was about to release a new song called Smile. Amazing song, lovely song. You should listen to it. And then he reached out to me also. No, I saw it. Yes, I remember I saw that he had spoken about it. So I reached out to him. Oh, you should come, like totally come and bring the song to the station. Let's do an interview and everything. Let's like put awareness. Because for me, I just felt like he was such a talented person. I felt like this thing is beyond talent. It's a gift. And I was like, I have a platform. Might as well just push this guy out there, like because there's lots of nonsense out there. This is real raw talent. So I was all about bring it to the system, bring it to the station. Let's put it in the system. Let's put the song out there, and that's how we started talking again. But at the time we started talking again, life had happened to me, and he still had feelings. I remember the day he actually brought the CDs to the station. I remember. I remember what I was wearing. I remember what he was wearing, and how I remember these times was because after the whole incident in March and April, I did a particular hairstyle, carried my hair till November, and it wasn't because I didn't want to loosen my hair. One, it was convenient. It was like fox locks. It was convenient to. I just did the hairstyle because I didn't want to have the presence of mind to think about. I didn't have the time or capacity to think about doing my hair over and over again. So I just put my hair in fox locks. And so that's why I can remember the time. It's by the hair. I remember the time. I remember what I wore. I remember what he wore. I remember him signing. I told him to sign the CDs. We're going to give them out to people. And so we started talking again shortly after. And for me, it was just like, he was a really good person. Just wanted to be his friend. Just want to be his friend.
Who friend zone by your idea?
And it was bad.
Wait, so you friend zoned him for how long?
Like 3 years.
3 years. Wow. To think that you're not going to be married couple with 3 children.
Oh my goodness.
Imagine that time. So what made you change your mind?
Oh man, lots of things. So many things happened in between. I would say significantly, my two of my brothers-in-law, my sisters had gotten married at the time, the next year, the following year, 2015, both of them got married. And I remember even before they got married, just singing with my brothers-in-law individually at different times. So my sisters would tease me because Femi was always coming around at some point. I was like, I don't like this guy. Why is like, you guys shouldn't, like, I can't even date him. I don't want to date him. He's this, he's that. And then he would come around, and one of my brothers-in-law would see him, and he would say, there was one day he called me saying, how far now? This guy is always just around, like, how far? So I was like, yeah, he's this guy, and yeah, for me, he's just my friend. And then he said to me, he told me a story of his own aunt and uncle, and how when his aunt wanted to get married, her husband came around, and his dad was just like, no, but because he didn't look like someone that fit the bill, but his aunt stayed there because it wasn't about what he looked like, it was about the potential that he had. And he was like, that if this guy has it, which I can see that he does, I think that is something that you should consider. I remember that he said that, and I was like, yeah, he is hardworking, I know that. And he was like, yeah, so it's left for you to not think about what you want for your future. And that was the first seed. Because it wasn't like I was like, oh yeah, you're right. No, I wasn't like, no. but it was a seed. Then the second time, my other brother-in-law, I remember we were talking about something, we had done an interview, so he was watching it, and he was like, everything you're complaining about, I can't see it in this guy. I think that you're just looking at him based on the fact that you don't want to date him. Maybe you should just consider him as a person. Just look at him as a person. Like, what's he like? Get to know him. I was like, okay. So the third thing that changed my mind was having a conversation with my younger sister one day. And I was like, you know what? I don't even have the time. This guy is such a good guy. He's such like, I don't even have the time for good guys right now. I don't have, because my life was going upside down. And I also don't even have the time to be in like this kind of relationship. I'm just, like I said, fighting for my life. And she said, what if he's supposed to be a part of your healing journey? And that one really, like, how you're hitting the nail and that was a final hammer hit. And then eventually I realized also that I was also praying for my future husband, by the way.
When it was right around the corner.
I was praying for love. I would be crying. So many heartbreaks. I won't tell this one about my heartbreaks and stuff. I'll tell him about it.
Yeah, Jamil.
I'll be telling God that I have so much love to give. Why can't you just bring someone? And then one day, I remember God said to me, "What if I've already given you this person?" I was like, I just saw Femi's name written. I was like, nope. I ended that prayer. I got up. I was like, no. But then I also realized later on that everything I had been praying for, he was actually just checking them out. And I think also Femi was just very consistent. Like, he didn't go anywhere. Like, it wasn't. I remember saying to him at some point, if I was a guy, I would have left me. Why are you still here? But he was very consistent, very persistent. Not persistent as in annoyingly persistent, just persistent in kindness and persistent in love. The kind of love that is it covers, like not the kind of love that, oh, I want to shower you with love or toast you or anything. No, it was the kind of love that covered. It was kind of love that, how would I say, like, when I say covered, I don't necessarily even mean protect. It was kind of love that covered up for your mistakes. The kind of love that covered the gap. And yeah, I think eventually, I don't think I stood a chance, to be honest. Yeah.
So, I remember you had told me that, I don't know if you told me, but I heard it, that you actually told him about being raped so that he could leave you alone.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I told him about not just the rape, everything that my life had become after. I told him about, I was like, listen, in order to help myself, I started sleeping with guys. And I've done this, I've had this, I've had that, I've had an abortion, I've done this, I've that. I told him everything just so that he would say, wow.
Yep.
This is a bit much.
Yeah.
But I remember just telling him about, that was my final, how do I say that? That was my last card.
Yeah.
That was in 2015. December 2015.
It was December.
December, Christmas Day.
Christmas Day
2015. I did that just so that he would, and he just said, okay, let's pray. That was when I knew that
you're going nowhere.
Nowhere.
The kidnap and the rape, was it one person?
So there were two people who kidnapped me, but it was one person that raped me. I want to say thankfully, but yes, it was one person that raped me. Yeah.
For me.
You. Who you?
First of all, you be man.
No, be human being.
What was going through your mind when she told you about the rape and everything that she'd had to deal with, knowing that happened, and she felt like, because I know you said that when that happened, you had to begin to do everything because you felt unworthy, so you might as well just continue to be unworthy intentionally. Yeah. What was, and I'll come back to that with you. We'll come back to that. What really, really was happening in your mind?
I felt so bad. For her, no human being should have to go through that kind of experience. But
Did it make sense to you?
Of course, it did not make sense to me. Never.
No, like what I mean, like, I'm so sorry, I'm jumping on your question, but even I have never asked you. Like, I was gonna say, like, did it make sense to you, like, how I was acting? Sure.
Well, makes sense. I don't know. I was just going with the situation, if that makes sense. I had no yardstick to navigate. I had no yardstick to, how can I be there? I just know that this happened to her and I want to be with her. So where do you find that sweet spot? Let me know. Obviously, initially, it was a lot of dumping on me, which is why I'm still always shocked that when she gives me attitude, it still affects me. Because in the beginning, it was worse. But I think it's because of, it's okay. Probably because how much I have loved her over the years. It would not make sense to me. So let me just circle back to it. For me, it was like, okay, this is the situation. how do I stay here and be like, not like a fly on the wall, but like if you look back, you see me that I'm here, and it's not like I'm rushing you into like, oh, you should not. It was never like that. I wanted to be a safe haven for her. So in that initial time where we were about to start, I knew about everything and everything happened. I was just there. I didn't have words of wisdom or words of affirmation or all these things.
And I appreciate it.
She was going through it. I can't, as a man, there's no way I can understand the experience. But what I can do is not just be empathetic, but just be there. Be constant. It's just that simple. So if she wanted to talk, I was there. For the most part, she didn't want to talk. It's okay. There was a time she couldn't hear the word rape. I was there. There was a time it was just very, very traumatic for her. I was just there. I just made sure that I was there. And instead of saying it, just do it. I don't know. I've never really been like, when it comes to, I'm realizing that when it comes to feelings, I don't know how to express with words. Ini is amazing at expressing herself. I don't know how to do it. I know how to act it out. Just be there. What do you need from me? How do you want it? I am here. Do you understand? Just for you to know that you are not alone. So I think that was what happened in that instance. The first time she shared that story, I was there. The first radio thing that you went for, the first time she spoke about it, I went to the studio with her. The first gathering or church that she shared that story, I was there and I was following up. I was going everywhere, And it also spelled even into our marriage, into pregnancy, into everything. I was just, even before we started dating, I'll go to our office. I still have a drawing of a duffel duck that she did for me. I have it in one of my Daffy, and I have it in my file. I'm going to frame in one of these days. I'll just put it up. Like, it reminds me of how everything started for us. Like that consistency on my part when it comes to her. I wanted to show her that, oh, this is not me just being consistent because I want to date you. Or this is what life is going to be like moving forward. And I can tell you, like, at least to the best of my ability, I'm not a perfect person, obviously, but I've tried to do the best that I can. So honestly, when she said that was a part of her healing journey, I never really even saw it like that until like she kind of like mentioned it. I just like, she needs me, she will not say it. So I just have to be there. And sometimes she'll break down, she'll cry. And sometimes for some women they don't like crying in front of men. But she will. And I never judged, I never spoke down on her, I never made her feel like she was not, a fantastic human being that she has always been. Do you understand? So, but the beautiful thing is the gradual healing. And it started little by little, then it was just fast at a point. And I feel like it was not just me. There's a lot of God involved. There's a lot of family involved. Our sisters, our brothers, our family, they are fantastic. And then obviously there was now me. So I think that was also what like sped up everything. Like, oh, she understands the kind of backbone that she has. And that love was constant. They pour love in their family. I don't know how it is. Like they have Gorodome of love that they pour. Even with that Femi, do you understand? So, but also one of the things I promised myself, just even before I married, I was like, this woman will understand what love feels or what love means from me. Do you understand? Like just down the line, she would look back and like, okay, he didn't say it, but he was doing it. He was doing it constantly. And I felt like that was actually what she needed at that time. And I thank God that we are here now. It's now in narration. Because at that time, go easy. And I'm not saying that it was easy being taking it up. Like I had to ask God for constant capacity. Because I've never gone through that kind of thing before. And also choosing to saying that I'm not going anywhere. Like I'm staying here. It wasn't easy, but I'm glad.
I'm thinking about it from the perspective of what men know in our society. Like when that type of thing happens to a woman, you have to exclude yourself
Of course.
or throw stones.
Of course.
And with you, I'm still confused as to, yeah, I get it. Like I've loved her long before this happened, and even after this happened.
Yeah.
How did I want to know what was going on in your mind from what you know from society, and how you were able to resolve in your heart that my love will hold space.
You remember that Titanic movie? You remember the soundtrack? My love will go on. In a nutshell, that was it. Because it's a very unique situation. Do you understand? And the easy thing is to bolt, and rightfully so. Like I've heard stories of men that, I can't take this. So the baggage is too much. I just go. But I think for me, the fact that I knew that Ini was going to be my wife from the jump, I knew the end from the beginning, just like my father, Jesus Christ. So that kind of like helped in understanding the situation and just being there, just being consistent. Because I realized that at the point, I'm like, if you ever leave this woman, you're going to damage her. She will not believe in love again. So that thought never crossed my mind. It was never there. It was like, oh, this is the person I'm going to marry and I'm going to be here. For me, it was like, I saw the end from the beginning, if that makes sense. Like I saw years, I saw children, I saw grandchildren.
So for you weren't even thinking about what happened or anything?
I was thinking about what happened, obviously. But if I put too much thought into what happened,
you will miss the mark.
I'll miss what I'm like. Do you know how many times I've heard this story and I'm there and I'm listening? And it's not like I only won't wale.
7 years.
7 years later, do you understand? I'm still listening. Do you understand? It's not. I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy. Let me put this out there. Loving Ini is not easy. Really? Go give me my flowers.
Take your flowers.
But the beautiful thing, I would not have it any other way. Because my life wouldn't have turned out the way it turned out. See, let me tell you people something. In Niabasi is number one Femi fan. And it's not just the way she talks about it. It's just how she lives it.
It's in her eyes.
It's there. It's there. Like there was a point in my life where I felt like I was just done. Music, life, I was just like, nah. She was like just when your firewood is already going off and you put charcoal or more wood to ignite the fire. That's what she has been doing for so many years, because being a creative comes with so many doubts. So imagine I didn't stay through from the jump when she was concerned. Do you think she would be this loyal to me? No, now. I'm saying, oh, you are going through it. And voila, it go be now. We go see when we see. And not be there like trying to help or just being present. There are number of days where we'll hang out in our family house. I'll just be there. We'll probably be in the studio. She's painting. Or before I go to the car, we'll be in the car outside, just chilling, just talking. Or when I didn't have a car, we had I'll bring a cab and I'll just enter the house or just stay outside. We'll just talk. Do you understand that kind of thing? Like, I've always been there. So if there's something that has made this work, that's been my consistency. And also, there has never been an inkling of whether I would ever like somebody else. The concept of another woman is very alien to me. The concept of looking at another woman, not even thinking about it, just looking at her, is very alien. Like, it has always been her. And just seeing what we've been able to build together, every day I see it in children in our eyes, in the house that we have, in the life that we built together. Even in the downs, especially in the downs, we've had so much that Ini has never given me a reason to ever doubt her or doubt that she respects me. And I feel like it's almost like it's a reward of
all your presence.
I feel like I've been rewarded so many times over by this woman because there's a way she treats me. And sometimes I don't feel like I deserve it. And if she doesn't do it, it's also cool. It's not like there's no expectation from me to her, like from a husband to a wife. And this is like very weird to say, but like I'm not expecting her to do certain things because I know where her heart is. I know what she will do. So I don't need to expect. But then when she does it, it's mind blowing. One of the things is like the way she doesn't joke about how I eat my food and how it's presented to me. She's always like that. Like, and it's sometimes like even when I see it, I ask her this question every day before I eat every meal. Babe, have you eaten? Because I can't in my mind like start eating, but I know even if she hasn't eaten, she will tell me that she has eaten so that I can eat. And it's not just the eating part, it's the presentation of no matter how crazy it is for you in your world out there, you are number one in this house. So why would I not break my back for her? Always. Do you understand what I mean? So I feel like all those times where I've been consistent, like I'm rewarded every day. And it's not in tidbits and like pieces, like in like huge ways. And I say, especially when time is rough, that's when you know a woman is there for you. Because if it's by money, you know, it day. Let's just say, do you know, but I'm saying that it's not why, because if it's why, then we would not be here 7 years after. Come on, are you kidding me? Do you understand? So I think God just kept me in that time to say, oh, your reward is coming, but please, you have to, this here, so I didn't listen to anybody, a lot of people
Yeah, there
in
were a
my
lot of
ears saying different things.
I remember when we were like, we did marriage counseling and also about to have our introduction. We had a number of people, a number of older people tell Femi, you know, even say to me that if they had known that, that was
Pastor
the experience,
self,
if they had known that that was the experience I had,
they won't have allowed you
told
marriage.
Femi to break up with me, or Femi should just be careful when we get married. There's some things that will come up, that would interfere with probably our sex life, even going as far to say that, oh, when we get married and we start having sex, I will want it the way it happened to me when I was raped and stuff like that. Or people even just telling Femi that it's not worth it just being here. Eventually it's going to come out and bite you, stuff like that. So I'm so sorry.
It's okay now.
At the time I was so upset, and Femi didn't let the voices get into his head, but I did. And I remember when we got married, it wasn't that the issues that came about were that, it was affecting me. When we got married, what I was not thinking about is Femi thinking about those things. So it got to me, it was in my head.
It swallowed you up.
Oh, it did. And we had to, the beautiful thing about Femi and I is me thinking that I was going to chase Femi away by telling him everything was ironically a very beautiful start to our relationship, because it opened a door to a vulnerability that exists till now. So it was like as if you could know everything was
really just that kind of thing.
So from then till now, we have always shared everything openly. Like if we can't speak about it now, if I have to swallow my throat 10 times, I promise you tomorrow night
You still say it?
Yep.
10 p.m. I'm gonna tell you. But I was saying all that to say that the beautiful thing about our relationship was that when we first got married and a few months in, those issues arose, we were able to talk about it. At least we were able to say, okay, this is what's going through my head. This is what's inside. These are the voices in my head. Are you thinking about this? Is this on your mind? And the thing that I've loved about Femi is that before, I remember when one of the few people spoke to us like a day before our introduction, and we were leaving, and I said to him, are you worried that when we get married and when we have sex, I'm going to want it this way, the way these people have said? And Femi said, when we get married, if there's anything that you want, it's my responsibility to give it to you. That's one. Two, if there's anything that you want that I see that is not good for you, it's my responsibility to teach you better. And that gave me peace. It's like, okay. And he said it to me again when we were having that conversation. I remember, if there's anything that we are doing, or if it's anything that you desire or you want, and I see that it's not good for you, I see that it's not good for us, it is my responsibility to change it or to teach you better, because obviously you don't know better, and that's okay. So even after that, how I got over it, I used to be so upset. For the longest time, I was so upset that these people even said these things and planted a seed and gave us an unnecessary battle that we didn't need. But one thing I realized is that anger, trauma, pain is given to you. You can decide to hold on to it or not. You can also decide if you want to take it. You can decide that you're going to say, I don't want to carry your problem and go. And so I made my peace with the fact that these people will always think like this, and this is the mindset they will have, and many other people as well will have that mindset. But it doesn't mean that your mindset gets to live in my house. And also, if you knew better, you do better. So that's the piece I made with it. But I can't remember how we even got here. How was I talking about this? Like, oh yeah, we were talking about the things that people had said before we got married. So yeah, that's basically.
So I think one of the things I deeply love about your relationship, and as far as I'm concerned, you're the most vulnerable person in the entire country. No. I stand on that with my 10 toes.
Wow.
I stand on that with my 10 toes. Like,
It's
I
true.
love your love. It's true. I mean, I love your love, and I think that people do not realize how vulnerability leads to deeper connection. And you guys, like you said, being that vulnerable was actually the beginning of connection. And I'm like, I've had to be with people where it's so scary for them to be vulnerable and all. And I wanted to ask Femi, like, when she was that vulnerable to you, have you been vulnerable to her as well prior, or did that also trigger or was a catalyst to your own vulnerability to her as well? Because I know you to be very vulnerable as well. Oh my God, yes, I know. So I wanted to know, has it always been like that, or is when she became very vulnerable that it catalyzed your own vulnerability?
Let me start out.
Now you start out. Yeah, you look like the person that was started.
So why?
Because let me tell you why. Whenever I'm in the house, Femi is giving me. I feel like I come to your house like once a year. I get caught up with what has happened.
Everything, I will let you know. I will let you know.
Talking that you now come and sit down.
I will let you know. If I forget this, you. So like, okay,
So right.
and the reason, and I wasn't like that. I promise you, I'm not like a chatterbox with anybody. You have to be so close to me for you to get that side of me, and you have to be in my space. And it's not with everybody. But then what happened from the get-go was, because I knew she was the one, I just started say the ones that she did not want to hear, the ones that no matter how much she did not want to hear it, because I saw it in her face, I did not care. I kept going, and it started with just a lot with everything that I was doing, from what I was planning to finances to just life plans, especially finances, life plans in general. Because even with the money thing, I realized that if I picked the idea of, I'm being very inconspicuous when it comes to money, it's going to give a lot of problems down the line.
Because I had issues with money.
Do you understand? And I didn't even know this, but I was just like, yo, this is it. This is what we have. This is what we don't have. And there was a lot of we talk.
And he was, I was just gonna say that, and he would say we. I'm like, who is we?
In the beginning.
Who is we?
Do you understand? Yeah. And obviously that's what translated to now. But there was a lot of we talk, like, oh, this is how much we have money in my account, but this is what we are doing. This is how much you're going to collect. This is how much I have. Blah blah.
You would have 5K. You say, yeah, you take 2.5.
I'll take 2.5.
I'm just like, okay.
And till now, that's the way. Like, people ask me for money. You not find one right in my hand. It's either Ini has everything, or if I have it, she can. Like, I don't feel like I have what would I call it? I don't have power over the money. She does. But then it started from, this is what we have, and the moment
it doesn't matter if she does it, we do.
Do you understand? But
but we both have to make a unanimous decision.
The moment I'm just from the beginning, like the moment she like kind of like resolved into, okay, this is how we are moving now. Like when it became, okay, this is the culture now, it was easier when it comes to like the money parts and how we're moving with that, to like just ease into it, and then also heal her from everything that she either wanted to do or did not want to do. So it was just smooth into the marriage. So it wasn't like something, it wasn't a battle we were fighting in the marriage of, because
no, it was way before.
Do you understand? We already, and also I've also been like very open with, like, if I have it, this is what it is. This is how do you understand? What I tell.
I have a question, and not to draw us back, but I really wanted to ask this because of other people who maybe have come to this and they don't know how to navigate it. the fact that you loved her and you decided to go forward, if the reverse was the case, where you just felt I couldn't handle this, and you had kept it moving, do you think it's something you would be regretting today?
Of course. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Somebody marrying Niabasi. Somebody else. And till we having this conversation, it has never crossed my mind. First of all, I don't allow nonsense in my head. Like, my head is very, very special. It's like family, God, music, and that kind of thing. Like very, very pure things. By God's grace, but in
Somebody marrying
like it's in which world? The alternate universes, it's not. So I will have actually regretted. It will have been a terrible life. I feel like it will go toe to toe with the fact that at the point I was doing a 9 to 5 and I was miserable, and I realized that music was my thing. So imagine I was a 9 to 5 guy, and I see somebody else doing what I'm doing, and somebody else being the guitar man of Africa. I'm like, how would it have been if I was the one? It's the same way, like even better with Inabasi. Like I will not see that she has children, somebody else, or she's flying around the world. Even if I was married, I was like, that could have been me. Do you understand? Like it will not be like a life filled with regrets. Like, so when you know she's the one, why are you now by trying to be I'm the distant, like it never
let your pride and ego take over.
There was no ego when no, like, and I tell her this, like, there's ego died the moment I met her. Not married, met, because I remember when we got married, there were certain things that she was doing to me, and I used to tell her that, do you know my position in my family? My father consults me. I am the Olori Ebi of my dynasty, and you are talking to me this way.
When Femi used to say this thing when we argue, I was like, remember, I'm like,
these women, I'm like, nobody. I said nobody on the face of the planet will talk to me this way. Like.
And you're like, you'll be melting.
And I will be taking it. It's not like I will not take it. But I'll just have to let her know at the end of, like, I'm going to take it from you, but this is not normal. This does not happen. Do you understand? I remember I had this spat with my dad like a couple of years back. Like even when it was even concerning her, we just started dating. So obviously I knew that we were going to get married. She didn't know that yet, but I knew. But like we were just dating. It was a week, and me and my dad traveled. And my dad was like, "Oh, so I heard that you have married. You are dating a Calabar girl." I'm like, "Yes." And he wanted to go into, and I understand where my dad is coming from, because it's from his own personal experience. It has also happened to him with someone in our family. So it was like my own child. He's trying to protect me. But for the first time, that was when my dad saw that I stood up to him as a man. Like, you married your wife, I'll marry mine. That's what I told my dad. Do you know how crazy that is? Like, you picked yours, I will pick mine. And it's not like, oh, I'm going to seek your counsel. No. You picked, I will pick. Full stop. And that was it never happened again. And I felt like my dad saw me like taller that day, like, you don't mess with this boy. Because out of all his children, I'm the meekest. I never gave anybody any problems, like ever. So for him to like, oh, okay, this is really cool. Do you understand? So now to have that, and then my wife is now talking to me and Nia. Do you understand? Like, I can lift you up. Just, but I also realized that. But it's a good thing that you married a tall man. But I also realized that she's actually the only one that can in the entire world. This is my safe space. This is my, like, you are messing up. Oh, I'll put you in your place, and I'll put you in your place because I love you. Because you can choose. Because I feel like a lot of men down their wives and don't give them voices. I will take the credit for it that whatsoever this woman is today is because of God and me. What she has become. Because I could have easily just shielded her and just say, stay in the house. What are you doing? But she was also wise enough to say, this is what I want to do, this is my plan, and came for blessings. If you don't say yes, it doesn't happen. Wisdom. Do you understand what I mean? Wisdom, because like I'll just shut you down, like, like NEPA, just off your line, like, do you understand what I mean? Yeah. But then also I feel like everything has been given in both ways. Like, we've been able to give ourselves room to express ourselves and grow also at the individual. And I told her a couple of days ago that, do you realize that we've grown together. It's not like I've grown and you're playing catch up, or you've grown and playing catch up. We are both growing because also everything we are both a part of, like separately and together, we are in each other's business. It's so interwoven. You know that thing.
Of each other's lives.
It's like you have cables and you just, how do you separate the cables? Like everything is so interwoven. Do you understand? So I feel like also that's one of the things that help. Like we are our greatest cheerleaders. Whatever she's doing, like we have conversations after, like, oh my God, that happened, babe. Oh my God, that, like, it's so cool to like check in and have that, you know.
I
like,
want to
so
say
beautiful.
something. At the sponsors dinner, Ini was talking and everything, and the minute you entered, my sister lost focus. I'm just like, hey, God, see love. This is what they call love. Oh my God! Like there was such a big smile on her face.
You know what she told me? She said for me, like, if it was like a mind came down the moment I walked in, because she was texting me, I was like, babe, where are you? And I was trying to make sure that, because we have a life, understand? Like some things will not stop. 3 beautiful children, so you have to make sure that things are working. So I had to settle all of that, and then I'm like, I have to be there, because it was from when we were preparing for the sponsors dinner that I realized how much me being there will mean to her. I'm like, regardless of whatever, I have to be there. So the moment I walked in, she told me like, oh my God, like her mind came down, and she was very happy. And I was also very happy to be there, to just sit down at the back and just see what she was doing. I was already looking for houseboy work that I was going to. I've always been like that. Like when it comes to
Me,
things
I
that
was
like
like, I saw the other and said, babe, the speaker has been.
she didn't even have to say it. I already okay. What do I do? I went there and the moment I did it and everything was fine, I was telling the person that was beside me, I was like, I sorted it out. The moment I came here, I sorted my wife out, because it was like it made a lot of sense to like, oh, don't worry, my husband is here. Like there are things that in this life Ini has no issue, like she has no issues with, because she doesn't even know how it functions. She doesn't know, like, if I travel and I'm not in the house and certain things finish, it's not a business for her to know how it's going to be done. There's no gas, there's no light, they want to do. She doesn't know how it even functions. So she calls me, I'm like, and I'll just do it. Like, she doesn't know. She has only switched on the gen once since we got married, and I fought her. And it was because I was in America at that time. I'm like, why would you go and switch on the gen? There's a gate man there.
Can I explain myself?
Yeah,
Again, the gate man wasn't there, and I was pregnant. I was very hot. I was like, I couldn't handle it, and Femi wasn't around. I tried to call security guard, he wasn't there. What will I do? I had to go and switch on the gen now. Can you
And
just
also
let it
understand,
go?
when she was in her father's house, she's the gen, she buys for diesel, she switches on the big gen and everything, she does it. But I did it with her a couple of times when we started dating. I'm like, so when she did, like, it was what I promised myself, that this kind of thing ends in your father's house. With me, it's smooth sailing. You're here to just be a princess. Do you understand? And it's the same way till tomorrow. Do you understand? Like, and by the grace of God, she will never know, because like it will be like, why do I have to know how this functions, how this moves? Do you understand? Like, that's why you have a man. Yeah.
Kudos to you, and thank you so much for being that safe space for her.
Thanks,
For being that person that she just knows that with my person, I'm safe.
Yeah.
I trust. I can be myself self. And this is not because of everything you said, because I've known you guys for a long time, and I know how your relationship is. Like, especially the sponsors dinner, like she lost focus. I said, Eloa, this is back here.
Your friend.
I wanted to, the funny thing, I wanted to hug her when I walked in. But you see that I touched her, because I knew that it would take like 5 minutes.
What I expected was that you guys would kiss, forget about all of us. But she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I said,
it was like a professional, kind of semi-professional setting. So I was just like touched, oh, I'm here. And if I had my way, I would like, you're going through the back, she'll just see me. I didn't want to distract her, because I knew that she was in the zone. But yeah, thank you. I don't know what we did. We did something together, and somebody came to thank me.
It was where I was invited to share my story when that was 2022. Yeah. And I shared my story, and then someone they're asking me questions after, and then someone else says, "Your husband, like your husband, who is your husband? Where is he?" I said, "Oh, he's here, he's at the back," and they gave him a standing ovation. Mostly the men in the room, like they got up, and then after the whole event, the man who asked, he went to go and I think he went to Femi, he went to thank him, you know.
We don't do it for the thanks. We do it for the woman.
Don't worry, we will come and do the thanks.
But you see, another thing is that the reason why I am the way I am and I will continue to be, I have a son and I have daughters, and I have separate relationships with the three of them because they are just three different human beings. But one of the pickups for the girls is, this is how a man should take care of a woman. For the boys, this is what you are seeing. This is the starting point for you. This is not, oh, I want to be like my father. You have to be better than me. But this is the baseline of like, oh, when you say woman, because the reason why I'm the way I am is because of my dad. Do you understand? My dad is a very soft, loud with his laugh, but the greatest guy you ever meet. And he's been with my mom for, I don't know, 37 years now, almost 40 years that they've been together. And I see the way he treats her. Obviously, I wanted to be better, but that was like my own baseline. So yeah, certain things, certain quirks that I feel like, okay, can be better, I adjusted in my own. And that's why I'm the way I am with. And then for my son, it's just going to be like, oh, so why are you like this? Oh, have you seen my dad with my mom? No. That's the way we are in our household. Oh, we carry bags for women. It's not like I'm not ashamed. Like, it's not even a conversation. Why would she be carrying a bag? Or why I still open the door for her. It's not a chivalry is dead kind of thing. It's just I'm opening the door for my wife. It's not outside behavior. It's like inside. Do you understand? Like, just do you understand? So for me, it's like it's so important that if I set that precedent, it helps down the line for generations to come that they refer back to the OG that started it. Oh, this is the way it was. Oh, and then we are just, it's almost like an update. This is the way we treat women. This is the way we talk to women. You don't talk down on women. Like, honestly, sometimes when we fight and probably I raise my voice and she tells me that I'm raising my voice, it makes me feel so bad because that's never really my intention. I'm probably just passionate in the moment. Like, do you understand? Do you understand?
Okay.
You know, so yeah.
So I was actually going to go there next. That you guys have 3 children, 3 neurodivergent children.
Hello, Shan Jari.
Tell me about that.
Oh, they are. In fact, I always say neurodivergent so that people can relate, but I really call them 3 gifted children because that's what they are. They're gifted. Their brains don't work the way everyone else's brains.
Normal is
work.
overrated, man.
They're gifted. They're unique. Like, I was still telling my son last night before he fell asleep, I said, you're gonna change the world. Do you know that? You're gonna change the world. Like, you're going to blow minds away. What you have in your head is so spectacular. So we knew about only our son, who's our firstborn. But after a while we began to pick up other symptoms in our other daughters, our 2 daughters, and we realized, okay, 3 of them were actually gifted and neurodivergent. We did a diagnosis for them late last year, where we now realized that our son has sensory processing disorder. He also well, according to the diagnosis, because to be honest, I don't accept it. We don't accept it. But anyway, according to their diagnosis, our son has sensory processing disorder. He also has hypersensitivity, and he's in the gray area of autism. Same thing with our last daughter, but according to the diagnosis, her own diagnosis is higher than, or her own symptoms are higher than his, which she's already proving that is wrong. Anyway, and then our daughter, the one in the middle, first daughter has ADHD, or I say diagnosed with ADHD. I know say she has it. But the thing is, the reason why I say that I prefer to call them gifted is when the way that we look at them is that we don't look at the problem. I see their minds and the way they work and the way they function. I'm like, okay, so how do we take this and use it to aid you? So this is how you think. This is how you function. This is how you communicate. How do we take this and use it to aid you? And we've just been focusing and observing them for the past 5, 6 years now, we've just been able to figure out so many things about them and see God, in multiple ways. I've always felt like with each child that God has given us, He's just showing us another version of Himself, and it's just yet another opportunity to get to know God deeper, get to know God more, and just seeing how God has displayed Himself all over these children is magnificent. It's
beautiful.
It's beautiful. And so, in just watching them, observing them, and documenting over the years, we've also been able to come up with like an art curriculum for them, for neurodivergent children as a whole, which we're looking to at least launch this year. That was at the sponsors dinner that we launched. We're looking to launch launch it as a summer school program, because it's really frustrating taking them to school and people not understanding them. And so, which you can't blame people, and the onus is not on them really, because again, if people knew better, they would do better, and if people took the time to understand your kids, they would do better. Kudos to the school that they're currently in. The school they were in before was equally good. In fact, it was because of the school that they were in before that we were able to pick up some things and understand a bit more about them. But the school that they're in now is so fantastic and so good. But life continues after that, and so we're creating and preparing for that. But it's been. I'm not going to tell you that it's 100% easy to be parents of 3 gifted children.
It's not a walk in the park.
Yeah, it's not a walk in the park. But then we've also realized that in raising them, it is a call to slow down. It's a call to slow down. You have to be more analytical, more observant. You have to pay more attention. You have to also, you're constantly in rehab for yourself, because you're constantly checking a lot of things that are wrong with you, because a lot of times it's not what's wrong with them, it's what's wrong with us. So losing our patience or losing our cool is not because they're doing anything wrong, it's because we are frustrated. And so it's teaching us to slow down, to calm down, to be more understanding, to read more, to get to know more, to be more intentional as well. And so, because it's a sacrifice, it's a huge sacrifice. It's in fact, it's a life full of sacrifices. To be a parenthood is sacrifice. To be a parent to a neurodivergent kid it's an even greater sacrifice, because you'd find that you'd have to think constantly, like 10 steps ahead, beyond yourself. And it's not a life of convenience. You can't choose convenience, because your son needs to be massaged late at night, regardless of how tired you are, regardless of the long day you've had, but you know that he needs that to cope so you can go to bed, and so you do it. Your daughter needs extra time to be held, and this could happen with a regular child, with a neurotypical child, but with them you have to process along with them, and so there are ways that you have to create your home, or curate your home to accommodate, not even to accommodate, no, to enhance the way that their brains function. There are things you have to do, things you have to put in place, there are questions you have to answer, questions you have to ignore, but then will be asked anyway. There's a way your ego has to die. There's a way your ego has to die as a parent, because you now recognize that it's not about what you know. In fact, you don't know anything.
You know nothing.
It's not about what you know. It's not about what you expect. It's not even about what you anticipate, because to be honest, raising neurodivergent children, you can never anticipate some things that you will discover every step of the way. It's about you being open-minded and being ready. And then it's also not about your reputation. Never about that. It's not about what people say, not about what people think. If that ever crosses your mind, or if that is even your mindset when it comes to raising them, then to be honest, you already set yourself and the child up for failure. So it's a life of death, and it's a good kind of death, because to be honest, you don't need all those things in the first place. You don't need it. And so in some way, I feel like God gave us neurodivergent children to teach us how to be better people, better humans, because as we are raising them, we're also raising ourselves. As we're getting to know them, we're also getting to know ourselves, and we're seeing bits of ourselves in them and seeing bits of them in us. And they are also teaching us so much about life, so much about God, and so much about the world, so much about socializing with people that we're learning from them, so much about boundaries, so much about discipline. And when people hear that we have three neurodivergent children, the first instinct is, oh my God, how are you guys coping? Are you guys okay? I can't imagine the stress. And the truth is, I want to say it's not stressful, but what I would say instead is, because it could be stressful. But what I would say is this: stress is not the word, it's not burdensome. We count it as a gift to be stewards of these children, because that's what we are. These children don't belong to us. They're not ours for the keeping. They're ours to raise and to nurture, because they are gifts to the world.
Um,
I love it. I love it so much. And I want you to quickly touch on two things before you guys got the actual diagnosis. What were the things that you noticed that made you realize that these kids are gifted? That's one. And two, your summer school, 26-22, by the way, which is teaching these kids on how to be present, how to, how to navigate these gifts that they have during the summer. I want you to touch on how you notice for parents, because so for instance, I'm not one who is diagnosed, but I know, well, all my friends say that you need to go check yourself. But I realized that I had to start to learn about myself, how music actually heals me. And I know this is like a generic thing, but it's not just any type of music. And for the first time in the past 1 year, I will stay by myself for 4 to 5 hours straight, just listening to instrumentals, and that would bring my sensitivity, because I can be very hypersensitive. No one caught that. I had to learn in the past year that I was actually a very sensitive child, but no one caught it, no one knew about it. And then I had to now begin to navigate and learn. And for some reasons, it wasn't even that I learned it somewhere. It was this calling parents to be slow and still, to notice what is happening.
Yeah.
I realized that when I started to be slower and steady and calmer in my mind, I could feel the different parts of my body and how they were moving. My spirit was teaching me how to heal. My spirit was teaching me how, whenever I have certain anxiety in my heart, it tell me scream. Scream, not loudly, but just. And then I would literally feel like the toxins in my body come out of the breath of my scream.
Wow.
I could just lay down watching the clouds for hours, listening to music, and I literally would feel ease within me after I've been going through certain things that was angering me. And it's a lifelong thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but now I have the tools to be able to still myself. I have the tools to be able to calm myself to order. And I want you to talk about, as a parent, how parents can notice these things, because now the reason I can notice it with myself is because I'm grown. I have the mental note, I have the common sense to be able to catch it. And I had to catch it when I was in a place of stillness. Not a lot of people know how to be in a place of stillness. So how can parents catch it?
Oh boy, that's a really good question. I could just tell you how we did it.